This is the story of producing Lunova at the legendary Sound Factory studio. We will explore incredible iconic gear, the trials, the tribulations, the breakthroughs and breakdowns, mic placement, studio philosophy, studio history, and most importantly, craft a highly inspirational sample pack for you to use in any way you see fit. So sit back and relax, because for the next 16 minutes, we will be moving heaven and earth, all for the love of music. October 14th, Day 1, Drums. Nate assisted in helping me over mic this drum set. Yamaha sub kick, Electro Voice RE20, and Royer 121 on kick. Show me an engineer says they haven't knocked over a sub kick, and I'll show you a liar. Neumann KM86 and KM184 on snare. Sennheiser 441 on toms. RCA 77 for crotch mic. Soyuz 013 for overheads. Neumann U87 for the room. And one more mic. Although Sound Factory has a world-class mic locker, I had to bring my absolute favorites. Soyuz 017 tube for room as well.
We also have these puppies. We can use the Fairchild for something.
Oh yeah. This is where I get to use all my favorite plugins in true form. Still, it's amazing how different each piece of gear behaves in physical form. Thank God I've used all these plugins, so I at least halfway know what I'm doing. First, I'm using a distressor. Great compressor. You may not realize how much you rely on presets until the real thing is in front of you and not behaving as you wish. The Unfairchild took a while for me to get comfortable with. It's by far the best sounding compressor I've heard. It's in this moment I realized I could no longer ignore my intrusive thoughts. Who am I to find myself in this historical space? I just make noise in a room. Everybody does what I do. There's nothing unique about it. I just capture it on video. What makes me worthy of a platform and people's time? For whatever reason, I always love to minimize my accomplishments by discrediting its legitimacy. I realize I have to work through these negative thoughts and find the root of them if I ever want to understand them. Anyways, let's go over this drum sound. I then sat back and listened to what I captured. It can be tough to stay objective when viewing elements like this under a microscope. I won't really know what I have until I take it home. But before I did that, I knew just what it needed. Some space echo. So I had to record the whole performance through the space echo, real-time status, adjusting along for the perfect texture. Next time I hope I won't make that mistake and I'll just print it from the start. While it's printing, I strum some ideas along with this acoustic, test the usefulness of the loops. And that concludes the day. October 15th, day 2, one-shots in the ISO room.
Yeah, then we'll keep and do the overheads on 9 and 10, just to keep them on.
Have you recorded drums in this room?
I've been setting up, I've been helping like set up and stuff. You're looking for like a smaller room sound?
I kind of want to have more control over the final sound.
Yeah.
By using spring reverb and things like that. I'm coming back on Friday to do drums again with a session drummer.
Cool.
So it'll be nice to have an idea of what both rooms sound like. It was a real honor to have David help get the preliminary sounds. He knows the studio in and out, so his touch was paramount to achieving a clean, phase-locked sound. Then it's back to isolation. Capturing one-shots takes a certain kind of individual with a specific type of patience. I really enjoy wrapping the beater with felt for a softer 70s feel. Now cymbals will really test your patience. The mics are so hot you can't as much as breathe too loud and risk messing up the decay. One trick I really like to use is using a broken drumstick on rides to achieve a softer, transient tone. There's nothing like a vintage synth into tape. You can't fake this sound. I had to use this Rogue. It reminds me of my first synth, a Moog Prodigy. I got it in the most classic way. A neighbor moved in next door in high school. One day a guitar showed up on my stoop. Wrong address. When I delivered it, I got to meet Gordo. He was an 80s rocker whose wife left him for Chuck Norris, and he was never the same. We became friends. One day I spied the Prodigy in his garage, and he told me, "You want that piece of junk? Take it." October 16th, day 3, tape bouncing. In the days leading up to the sessions, my car was totaled. This experience changed the way I prepared for the studio. No longer being able to pack my car full of gear, only the most important items could come with me. After all, I had to take the bus. And may I tell you from experience, don't take a tape machine on the bus. They don't mix. I could not resist sending the drums through this iconic compressor before being forever glued into this RTM tape. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely struggled with the compressor, but it's only because it was in bypass. Putting drums on tape is a laborious process. Recording, rewind, repeat and listen, over and over until you're satisfied with the gain level. This thing saturates really easy. I'm surprised at how easy it saturates.
In a good way, or?
I mean, it's good,
Yeah.
but that's not a sound that I'm always looking for. Because I feel like you can always add that. So right now I'm trying to get clean. It took a while to get the sound that I wanted. Took some experimentation. You're working in a new setting, it's going to take you a while to find the sound that you want, especially if you're not used to working in new places. So here's the lay of the land. We have a RE20 inside the kick, which sounds pretty terrible. A Royer on the outside of the kick, which sounds kind of terrible too. A sub kick, which sounds quite nice. And then these Neumann overheads. It was important for me to just capture the room. When you sample a kick drum from an old record, you're getting all the mics at once. You're not gonna get a kick drum sample from a record that's just a mic inside the drum. You're getting all the mics in the room. You're getting the kick drum coming through the guitar amps, through the bass, through the vocal mic, if they're doing that. So I try to recreate that feeling by at least always having overheads. There's the overheads. Now here's everything together. I've mostly been using monitors since I'm working here, but I'm gonna use headphones today because I like that. Pretty much spent the rest of the evening trying to shape that RE20 into something usable. Diminishing returns, some say. So here I am in this room, which is very historical and very famous. Marvin Gaye recorded in here, the Jackson 5. Finding myself in this room, I'm sharing the space with history. I might think to myself, who am I to be drumming in this room? And it's something that I feel every artist goes through and has to deal with something that I want to get over as quick as possible, because I want to make something that I'm really happy with and really proud of, and just push my own creative abilities beyond my comfort zone and get into a new space of working, which is very other, something elevated. Funny thing is I emailed Splice a long time ago when I very first started Wondertone, basically just asking to be onboarded. I wanted to have my samples on the site, and I never got a response. Who knows, maybe no one saw that email. I just took it and carried on, kept my head down, and I did my work. Here I am in that space now, sharing energy with amazing musician ghosts, and basically just having everything at my beck and call. It was so odd to go from such a simple recording method of the past to being able to concoct really absurd recipes. Well, let's put the Royer through the LA2A into the Pultec, into the Fairchild, and I want that patched into my $100 tape machine. Everything's a learning process. I love this studio. This is an amazing room, and I'm so excited to finish and share this pack with you. All right, the week is done. It's time to book some more sessions and see what comes next. Let's go.
Yeah, we can run it through that.
November 5th, Day 4. Special guest star Nico Johnson on drums.
Sounds great. Keep doing that, but let's try a little bit of this situation.
Is that something rattling? Like the shirt you put on it or something? Better now. Do the floor real quick. Sorry, that stinks.
Drums are so hard to make sound good sometimes.
Now, having access to a plate reverb was very, very fun. The longer the decay, the darker the trail. It took me a minute to find the right decay. I showed Nico the demos, and he did his thing. He's the same drummer from Iridescent Loops. Sitting in the control room, I monitored the levels and enjoyed listening to his playing, already imagining just how I was going to mix it.
Reverb is strong.
Sometimes these endurance sessions start to get to your head. Everything becomes hazy. The outboard lights begin to melt into each other, and the repetition gives you sonic vertigo. It's kind of like repeating the same word over and over again until it becomes nonsense. The colors are beautiful, but the feeling is uncertain. You're not sure if you just wasted the last 4 hours on something that is far away from your original intention, high on distorted reverb and 60-cycle hum. What time is it? Wasn't I supposed to be out by 9? Did I leave, or am I still here? Why is this duck looking at me like that? Do you hear that noise? I thought we got rid of that. It's time for sleep. November 6th, final Sound Factory session, Leslie guitars. I decided to mic the room with the Soyuz 017. I then spent some time going through loops, to see what I wanted to play guitar along with. I decided to use my 1969 Teisco into a silver-faced Fender with the Neumann U87 close-up on the cab, a Kai M7, Electro Voice RE20, two Sennheisers 441 stereo miking the Leslie cabinet, and a little EMT 140 goes a long way. After this, I completed the melodic portion of the pack at home. That footage lives on Patreon. Thank you for watching, and if you like any of these sounds, please go check out Lunova by Wondertone on Splice.